Welcome to the video lecture of banking and insurance. Today we are here to discuss about the topic of banking current practices. Banking current practices. Functions of commercial bank. A banker accepts money as deposits, collects checks for the payment to an account, pays the customer checks and keeps account and is duly authorized to do the said business by the central bank of the country. Lending is a corollary to these functions to make an operating profit. A customer, on the other hand, said to be a person who has current account or some such relationship with the bank. Necessarily, classical banking concepts do not allow buying a draft from the bank to be considered as a relation of the banker or a customer. The basic relationship of a banker with his customer is a debitor or a creditor relationship, which is in fact reversible too. The same relationship may be contractual, obligations or agreement as under principal and the agent, bailor and the bailee, mortgager and the mortgagee. Bankers' duties against their rights. The bankers have the duties of honoring the checks, accepting money and checks, notifying closure, disclosure to none, statement of account, forgery prevention, ordering mandatory actions, and repaying the money. Of course, these duties need to be performed with skill and care of sales. Central banking. All the countries have their own currency and their own banking network. These cannot function indiscriminately without regulation and governance. In order to set the rules of the currency issue and govern the same, the central banks are formed by ordinance and parliamentary promulgation in the various countries. Generic function of central banks. Note issue, bankers bank, governments bank. Generic functions of central banks. Note issue. The central bank of the country issue the currency or legal tender and regulates its circulation. It is a note of the central bank which has unconditional promise to pay the equivalent of the sum mentioned in the note duly signed by the governor of central bank. The note issue is therefore fiduciary, the notes being backed by the government securities. Regulating the issue of currency is of national economic importance since the indiscriminate issue will lead to inflation. Bankers bank. Bankers themselves need a bank to maintain their accounts, and these accounts are basically needed for the purpose of operational balances to settle the debits each bank owes the other after the day's clearing of checks takes place. Non-operational accounts to maintain the cash reserve ratio or the liquidity reserve ratio that is stipulated by the central bank by the virtue of the power vested with it by the statute to regulate the circulation of money and the credit. Government's bank. The central bank obviously has an intimate relationship with the government. It offers advice on a wide range of issues and acts as a government's bank in number of ways. Government account. The exchequer is kept at the bank as inland revenues and national loan funds under different accounts for segregation and analysis. Management of national debt. Public debits are meant for financing the government project, and this cash flow is other than the normal revenue by the way of taxes or profits from investment. The issue, collection and the repayment of the public debits are done by the central bank of the country. Lender of the last report. The central bank sell treasury bills. If the discount houses or commercial banks or the development of a country needed urgently some cash and are not able to mop from other sources, the central banks buy back these treasury bills and offer urgent funds, thus acting as a lender of last report. Management of bullion and foreign currency reserves and exchange. Equalization accounts. The functions of maintaining exchange equalization accounts and management of reserves holding such as gold and silver, known as bullion and foreign exchange currency reserves, to prevent violent swings in the value of currency in foreign exchange market becomes an important role in the hands of central bank. Implementing the monetary policies. Invariable governments of various nations have specific economic agenda policies such as full employment, low inflation or price stability, targeted economic growth, targeted balance of payment situation, exchange rate stability. Relationship with the other international agencies and central banks. Another important role of central bank would be maintaining proper relationship and liaison with the other international organizations such as IMF, Banks of International Settlement, and the World Bank. Central banks are also required to keep in touch with the other central bank in other countries so as to keep up to date with the latest trends and strategies. Thank you.